Hello everybody, this is Silky I wanted to go over a little slideshow with you guys because, boom, the return of Family First Martial Arts. Yes, it is finally here, I know, and it is happening May 6th. Wednesday, May 6th is when we're officially getting back to classes. I would have had this out earlier, however, I needed to make sure that all the procedures that we're putting into place was following the Tennessee pledge, and that it was going to be something that would be compliant with all of the rules. So let's get started. So first, I think before I go over anything, I think it is super important that I know I speak from the entire team when I say thank you. Without you guys, we would not be here. It is because of your support through all of this that we still have schools to come back to. There has been lots of challenges throughout this whole thing, and I know it wasn't exactly what we had hoped it would be. However, without you guys supporting us this entire process, we could not do what we do. So I cannot say thank you enough. You guys are the best. Okay, so let's go over phase one, reopening. What is phase one? So first, the phase one, as long as everything goes right, should last approximately 2 weeks. This is basically it's all based on the number and cases of the coronavirus that are in Tennessee. If the numbers go up, we're in a bad spot. But if the numbers reduce, we'll move on to phase two. If they stay the same, or I believe if they raise, we'll continue in phase one for another 2 weeks. So it's pretty much basing it on we need to see consistent improvement every 2 weeks to move on to the next one, right? The success of phase one depends on two things. Now, not the success of the Tennessee phase one. Phase one, as per our reopening, this is going to be different. It has to be. There's lots of stipulations based on our reopening that are all based around keeping our students and our staff and you and our community safe. We're not out of the woods yet with coronavirus. It is still around, and so we have to make sure that we're being smart. And so we're doing our responsibility to make sure we're keeping the people around us safe. So it's going to depend a lot on our staff commitment. We are fully 100% committed to making sure that we're providing the safest, cleanest possible environment, following procedures that are going to keep your children and you and your families safe. And we're doing our part to keep our community safe as well. The second part is going to really depend on the success of phase one reopening is your support. Because, hey, let's face it, we are all super excited to get back to classes, but we have to do it responsibly. Okay, so here's steps that we are taking. First, we're going to be making sure that all staff is monitoring their temperatures before the start of their shifts. We're going to make sure that everybody is staying healthy and everybody is in, peak performance before they come in. If they're not feeling well, they won't come in. We're also making sure that all staff is wearing a face mask. It's going to be difficult to breathe at times, but it's something that we're just going to do. It just is an extra precaution to make sure that everybody stays safe. Some people are asymptomatic and do not know if they're carrying this, so just having that face mask just is another layer of protection. If you are wanting to wear a face mask or you want your child to wear a face mask, please feel free to do so. They won't be told to take it off or anything. We are also going to be adjusting our schedule. There'll be more on this later on, but I will be doing a 15-minute gap between each one of our classes so we can disinfect the equipment and all of the common surfaces. So like on top of the cubbies, on counters and stuff like that. So we're going to make sure we're taking care and keeping things clean. We are going to be adhering to the strict 6-foot social distancing guidelines set by the state, actually set by the country, the administration. we want to make sure that we are. It's hard to stay 6 feet away, especially in martial arts as a contact sport. But we're going to be doing things live in person now. So there's going to be no contact between the children, between the instructors. They'll be working on the bags, they'll be working on pads, but they're not going to be touching each other. So we're not going to be. We have to adjust some of our curriculum. We're not going to be able to do the throws and the sweeps and some of the self-defense when we take down. It's just not going to work. Okay, so we're going to adhere to this. Now remember, this is just phase 1. Phase 2 may ease up on those guidelines a little bit, and phase 3, I believe, is a complete, just kind of, it's kind of back to normal. We're also going to be mopping the mats daily. We mop them pretty much daily anyways, but we're just going to make sure that we take extra special care. Now, some of the things that we're going to be doing is the staff is going to be meeting students outside of the school, and we'll escort them inside. I'll cover this more in detail. We're also going to be accompanying the students outside so they can be picked up by their parents. So we are going to be escorting kids in and out. So these are the steps that we're taking. Here's what we need you to do. First, we're just asking you guys to please monitor your child's temperature prior to coming to class. Listen, I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed having to tell, grown people that you have to monitor your temperature. I wouldn't say this if this wasn't part of the guidelines, but also, we've been surprised at how many people come to class and they're visibly ill, or they have vomited in our bathroom and then come out and said, "Oh, we're fine to take class." That is not okay. In this time, we want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe, including you. It is very, very important you follow this. Please just take your temperature. Just monitor it. If it's spiked at all, keep them home. We still have our streaming classes, so you can stream them from home if you like. So please, listen to this rule. If your child is demonstrating, or you or your child is demonstrating any of the following symptoms, please stay home. Fever, right? Fatigue, a cough, sore throat, and a runny nose. Now, here's the deal. I know some of these are brought on simply by allergies, and we live in Middle Tennessee, and hey, what can I say? Allergies is a thing here. So I get it. I totally understand. But this isn't because we're fearful that your child has the virus. This is more so in protection for your child, because if you have a runny nose, you're constantly going to be touching your face. You're constantly going to be wiping your nose. If you're coughing, you're going to be bringing your hands up to your mouth to cover, or whatever. Sore throat could be nasal drip. It could be a whole bunch of things. I understand, but right now we're just making sure that everybody is staying safe. Okay, so even if allergies are having an issue, take an antihistamine and then maybe come to the classes the next day or later on in the afternoon if they're good. I just don't want people touching their faces. Okay. If we see your child demonstrating any of the symptoms above, they won't be allowed to participate in class. And I really hate doing that. Please, please, please. I understand. I hate doing this. We will call you to come pick up your child, especially if they're not feeling well. We just want to make sure that we're protecting your child and every other child that's in there, as well as our staff, from anything. Okay? So, it's not to be mean. This is just a difficult time. One of the things that we're also asking parents for you to do is just to remain in your cars. We're not going to have anybody coming into the building. Part of the guidelines for the Tennessee Pledge is that we restrict pretty much non-essential people in the building. It doesn't mean that you don't matter, parents. Of course you matter. It just, if I have a whole bunch of parents in there and kids, we're not doing our part. We're creating more contact. So we're asking parents, please stay in your cars. I know it's a bummer, because if my child was in the class, I would want to watch him take the class. I completely understand it. If you want, you can stream it from your phone. So please, please, please stay in your cars, okay? You can come out, you can bring them up to the sidewalk, or for the beginning of class, but we want to make sure that you're not inside of the building. It also reduces surface contact, so you guys aren't touching things or anything. We want to make sure everybody stays safe, okay? We're asking every child to bring a clearly labeled water bottle. It'll be with their stuff, and because we're not allowed to use the water fountain, so that will be disabled. The water fountain will be disabled, so you will not be able to use it. So please just bring a water bottle. It'll just help, make sure your child stays hydrated. We're asking all children to use the restrooms prior to coming to class, as in immediately before coming to class, because we're not going to have the restrooms open, but they will be available for emergencies. Okay. We're also limiting the class sizes to a max of 15 students per class. So we have to have a 50% capacity. We're not allowed to operate anything over 50% capacity. So the building capacity is a lot more than this, but I'm taking this as our floor capacity. And I designate a 6 foot by 6 foot placement for students, which is what I do already. And so that allows me to have roughly 30 people on the floor. And so this is 15 is our 50% max. Okay. So I mentioned that there's a drop off and a pickup. So what is this? I want you to think of this as very similar to how you drop off your kids and you pick them up for school, elementary school or middle school or something. We are going to have instructors out in front of the school right before class times. Okay. So students will be dropped off at the front when the instructor is there. Parents, please, 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 please make sure you don't just drop your kids off. And some of you are going to laugh. Don't just drop your kids off and drive away. Make sure that the instructor is out there first. The instructor is out there to make sure that the kids are practicing social distancing. They're there to make sure that the kids are staying safe, especially the younger ones. We want to make sure that we're going to have spots where they line up, and they're going to have proper distancing. We're just going to make sure that they're doing all right. We miss you guys so much. We just wanted to be out there to greet you. So, so please don't just drop your kids off and drive away. I highly, highly, highly recommend you guys staying there. Okay, just park your car, hang out in your car, read a book, do that. Something cool. Okay. It's also important that you guys are on time for your class, because if you are late, the doors will be shut. And if the doors are shut, we're not accepting any more students into that class. So I hate to be, kind of a stickler on this right now, but my whole goal with this whole reopening is to limit surface contact, which means I don't want parents coming up and grabbing the door, because that's just more contact that you're going to have with stuff. I'm eliminating as much of that as I possibly can. We're also following certain protocols with our staff to make sure that the students are staying 6 feet apart, and we don't. If you just come in, drop your child off, and it's late, it's going to disrupt the class. It's going to disrupt the flow, and obviously add to potential contamination, I guess. That's a weird way to say it, but yeah, you get it. Classes will need to be registered. You can register for your 2 classes per week there's a student portal, which is going to be on our website. As a matter of fact, it's on our website right now. And you can register for your classes. And there'll be a separate video where I walk you through this. There is also an app for your phone that you can use, and I'll be going over that as well. If you don't have the app, you probably want to get it. It's actually a really great app for you can do a whole bunch of cool stuff on it, but I'll show you exactly how you can schedule your classes. Okay, so you can also continue to attend any and all of the virtual classes. If you are uncomfortable coming in, I completely understand and I completely respect you for that. As a matter of fact, you won't see me in because my wife's parents are here and they are extremely susceptible to this. They have underlying health conditions that make it very difficult. They have actually quarantined themselves and they haven't been out at all. So I am taking precautions to make sure that if I'm out, that means my wife can't see her parents. So we are taking precautions. I completely understand if you are uncomfortable coming in. If you are in the same situation we are, I get it. We are still continuing our virtual classes. Oh, I just hit the button a couple of times. We are still continuing our virtual classes, and you'll be able to attend. Virtual classes are going to be filmed at Spring Hill because the internet is better at Spring Hill. The internet in Franklin is not strong enough to broadcast. If you show up to class without registering and the class is full, you will not be able to participate. So when you show up and there's a line of kids out in front and say you didn't register and you're in line, and somebody shows up and they did register, we'll look at the roster and make sure if you did not register and the class is full, you won't be able to attend that class. So I really urge you to make sure that you register for your classes, okay? Very, very important. And remember, the instructor will be there at the end of class. They'll escort all the kids out and we'll hang out with them and make sure that they're being picked up by the parents. And so please, please, please remember, these instructors need to escort the next class in, and it's only in 15 minutes. So please don't be late, okay? It's recommended, like I said, again, it's recommended that you stay in your car, read a book, check it out, enjoy the sun, listen to some music. That's my time. Anytime I'm in the car, I like to jam out to Jeremy Camp. So, especially his new album, really good, by the way. So, there is an adjusted class schedule because we put 15 minutes in between each one of the classes. It has adjusted the classes a little bit, so please bear with us. Remember, as we progress through these phases and get back to our normal, these classes will adjust back to what we're used to. Okay, so we have a Monday, Wednesday schedule. We're going to have, and this is the same for both Spring Hill and Franklin. We're going to have day classes from 1 to 1:30, Little Dragons. 15-minute gap, we're going to be cleaning. That's also when the Little Dragons will be escorted out, be picked up by the parents. The instructor will be waiting there for the basic kids to arrive, and that's at 1:45. That class starts. I recommend trying to get there a couple minutes before the start of your class. So about 5 minutes prior to, make sure that you're there, because that's when the previous class will be picked up, and the instructor will be there to gather the kids to take them into the next class. About a minute or two prior to the start of class, they're going to be escorting the kids in, and the door will be shut. So it's going to be a really tight schedule. Okay. There's also evening classes, 4 to 4:30, 4:45, normal class times. There's not going to be any games so much. Like, we're not going to be doing dodgeball or anything. They'll do different types of games and fun stuff. But classes are typically going to be, very much like, you're used to. Okay. Then we have the Tuesday, Thursday schedule, where the day classes are the exact same. However, the evening classes are going to vary. So this is going to be, like I said, Tuesday, Thursday, and instead of leading off with dragons, we're going to lead off with the basic kids, push the dragons a little bit later, and get the intermediate kids a little bit earlier. Okay. Advanced kids stay at 6:45 to 7:30. and teen adults are just going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays for right now. Couple of things, we are going to continue to be streaming our classes, and they're going to be at these exact times. So I'll be sending out the Zoom information for all of these classes. We'll also continue to have our Saturday morning Zoom classes just on Zoom. Unfortunately, we're not able to have our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes until at least phase 3, so because we can't have any contact. Okay, so again, everybody, I cannot thank you enough from all of us. This is our whole staff. We cannot thank you enough for believing in us. It is because of you all that we still are here, that we're still able to teach and impact the lives of kids and adults, because without your support we wouldn't be here. It is so important to us, this work that we do, that you believe in us, that it's humbling, and it is something that we are extremely grateful for. So thank you all so much. I'll be posting this in a lot of different places. If you have any questions, as always, reach out, talk to us. I know this is going to be an adjustment, but hopefully this adjustment is short term, 2 weeks, and then we get to a phase 2 where we're going to have a little bit more normal, and then hopefully we get to phase 3 where we're just back to, I think, the normal operations. Okay, so again, thank you all so very much. I can't wait to see you guys, and I hope you guys are all safe, healthy, and well.